I just want to do whatever I want. I don't want people to second guess me.
Please welcome Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
I've never seen anybody do as much stuff as he does.
I am the truest repairman. Zachary, remember? Remember Zachary?
Pull the f***ing Carl.
That guy doesn't know yet if there's something he can't do.
Everything.
I'm a Jehovah's Witness.
You've heard about me.
I have a lot of great ideas.
It's true. My rapper name is Childish Gambino.
Hey, yo, it's Childish Gambino.
Gambino is like the quintessential artist.
The only word I can use to describe him as genius.
We assume he will be president of the world at some point.
What's the reason I can't do what you do? And the reason is I felt so alone, I guess.
1983, Edwards Air Force Base, California. Donald Glover arrives into the world. The son of two Jehovah's Witnesses, Donald Glover was not raised with arts or creativity in the household.
Hey, they should call it a build.
I was like raised Jehovah's Witness, so I didn't have a lot of things growing up.
Growing up, I was so different from everybody. I felt so alone, I guess.
I wasn't really allowed to watch TV.
And what are your reasons for wanting a little brother?
Don't say revenge. Don't say revenge. Revenge? That's it, I'm getting out of here.
But despite this, Donald secretly watched The Simpsons, with the show planting the first seeds of comedy into Donald's mind. By 2002, Glover's family lived in Georgia, and he was soon to graduate from DeKalb School of the Arts. Here, he felt much more at home, with license to write and perform. But still, his issues with fitting in continued.
It was just hard for us growing up. I remember I was the only black kid at my school for a while. And I was like, oh, I don't really like rap music. I really enjoy the soulful stylings of the Cranberries.
I studied playwriting and television writing at New York University for 4 years.
At university, Donald is given free rein over his creative urges. With 4 of his peers, Glover forms Derrick Comedy.
James! Good evening!
An opportunity to exercise their writing and acting skills.
I can see it. You pooped your pants.
No, I didn't. I didn't poop my pants, guys.
There was no doubt, Donald shined in this environment. The skits picked up momentum online, eventually leading to the opportunity for the Derrick Comedy movie.
Your head's big.
Acting as a debut for several future stars, the film premiered at Sundance Film Festival.
What was the transition like from your web shorts to a feature film?
Hard, yeah, really hard. You're a writer for 30 Rock, is that right now?
Yes.
And so, yeah.
And he was. These skits, back in 2006, caught the attention of Tina Fey, who was in the process of developing NBC's newest sitcom.
Then I got the big break to write on 30 Rock.
At just 23 years old, it was a fantastic opportunity for Glover.
To this day, people are like, how'd you get it? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't.
Fey, an admirer of Donald, wanted him on the team for his talent.
I heard one of your classmates moved his band.
But in reality, NBC's diversity initiative meant his hiring would be a no-brainer.
I set a very high standard for myself, and I expect the same of the professionals who work with me.
Either way, Donald made his mark on the show, quickly impressing cast and crew. Tina Fey, knowing how funny he was, occasionally gave him appearances.
Be yourself. I'm talking to you clearly, gay kid. Who told?
Glover wrote for 3 seasons, contributing to the writers' team that won 2 Emmys.
I absolutely share this with every member of the writing staff of 30 Rock.
But despite these wins and the job security, Donald knew he belonged in front of the camera. Mere months after leaving 30 Rock, Glover landed an audition for a main cast role in another NBC sitcom, Community.
You're that girl that got hooked on pills and then dropped out. You're little Annie Adderall.
Despite having almost 0 TV acting experience, Community creator Dan Harmon liked what Glover had and offered him the role of Troy Barnes.
Hey, Troy sneezes like a girl.
And how about I pound you like a boy? That didn't come out right.
This was his first real moment in the sun and gave him full opportunity to do what he does best.
I'm volunteering at the animal hospital.
Animal hospital?
The animals are the patients.
That makes sense.
He became a fan favorite, with an electric chemistry between his co-stars.
All right, who did a butt?
They're boobs. And I don't know.
Donald was a newcomer to this TV acting world, but everyone on set knew he was special.
He was an actor and he was funnier than the stuff that the writers could come up with for him. We started just saying, oh, and then Donald will say something funny here to close a scene.
Maybe it's the telescope. You can look through it backwards.
Shrink your enemy.
This knack Glover had for laughs didn't come from nowhere.
I go downstairs and I buy a whole bunch of tampons and mayonnaise, and they're like, what the hell's that? I'm like, yeah, remember this face, nigga. And then I run out.
With experience in stand-up, improv, and television writing, Glover's ability to perform on the spot was unmatched for his age. But he wasn't finished there.
Yoip, going deep, cover past enemy lines, making everybody think I'm on the Christmas side.
Glover had yet another talent on his belt, and everyone at Community saw the potential.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo T-Bone, la araña discoteca.
You would see him on his laptop in between takes with his headphones on. You could see him doing the beats and working out lyrics. Nothing he's done is unexpected by any of the cast members.
Childish Gambino is actor, writer, rapper, and producer Donald Glover.
April 2011. The I Am Donald tour commences, taking Glover to 24 cities across the US. Including music, comedy, and video elements, Donald makes clear early on that he's here to give the audience everything he has. Refusing to box himself in, fans got to experience Glover's stand-up, freestyle, and music performances. But does one man attempting all dilute the experience? Quite the opposite. November, Glover's 1-hour stand-up special drops on Comedy Central to high praise.
Kids are pretty fucked up anyway. They're awful people. They're tiny, tiny little Hitlers.
At this point, it's clear Glover could have a successful career solely as a comedian. But this is Donald Glover we're talking about. Camp, Donald Glover's debut studio album, also drops in November. It debuts 11th on the Billboard 200, selling 52,000 copies in its first week. As Childish Gambino, his music develops a cult following, and by 2013, he's finding immense success in all three of his main endeavors. But it was at this point that Glover made the first of many difficult choices.
Life is just like learning about how to let go, because like you really can't enjoy things for what they are while you're in it.
When it came to Community, Donald Glover was loved by cast, crew, and fans alike. He had a secure position on an acclaimed network primetime show, but Glover knew his roadmap, and it was time for his turning.
Chevy Chase reportedly used the N-word.
Whether it was the tension with co-star Chevy Chase,
and what was all this stuff with the N-word, and Chevy was using the N-word on the set and all this?
Yeah, you shouldn't be throwing that around.
I hate you, Beard! I hate you so much!
problems in his personal life, or just a subconscious urge to move on.
I asked to leave because my heart really wasn't in it.
Troy, what's wrong?
I don't know, my heart's just not in it.
In season 5, Donald said bye to his friends at Greendale Community College, and we waved goodbye to Troy Barnes.
Community was my career. I loved working there, and then by the end it was a job. I just don't want to have a job anymore. I don't want to have a boss.
And with it, Community was never quite the same.
Troy will be departing after episode 5.
What?
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but we'll miss Donald.
But the problem is people tell you you're crazy for feeling that way.
Right.
It's like, you found the thing that you're supposed to do.
And people don't understand why would he leave, and it's like, look at his trajectory.
It's like, most people keep growing and wanting to find things that they love.
I just want to do whatever I want. I don't want people to second guess me.
Donald had made his decision. He slipped away from view for several months, and the public began whispering, "Where is Donald Glover?" Soon enough, we got the answer. Because the internet, Childish Gambino's second studio album released on December 10th, 2013. Including tracks like 3005, Sweatpants, and Telegraph Ave, this album cemented Gambino as a musician not to disregard. Musically, Glover had announced his presence, but because the internet is an album that's remembered for far more than its music. In fact, this album exists in its own universe, alongside a 72-page screenplay written to sync up with the music. But it goes even deeper. The script begins with a prelude, indicating to watch Clapping for the Wrong Reasons, a 24-minute short film that acts as a prequel to the script. Because the internet is Donald Glover in multimedia paradise, it's impossible for him to do just one thing. In fact, he absolutely disagrees with it.
I just follow what's right at the moment. You're just hurting yourself when you're like, I'm a this, I'm a that.
So much so that the Childish Gambino we all knew was about to change forever.
Performing Redbone, give it up for Childish Gambino!
In December 2016, Gambino shocked the world and released Awaken, My Love, a complete 180 on the previous style of music he'd established over many years.
This new album over here, though, Gambino is heading in an entirely different direction.
With influences of funk, R&B, and psychedelic soul,
Funkadelic versus the Placebo Syndrome.
This album immediately separated itself from Gambino's discography.
It's such a sudden change of pace, it's hard to believe that this is the same artist.
Awaken My Love was literally because somebody was like, oh, he can't make a hit.
The album peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200, grabbed another Grammy nomination, and became certified platinum.
Oh, not only will I make a hit, I won't make a video for it.
The single Redbone currently sits at over 600 million YouTube views, without a video. A departure from the multimedia man fans knew. But Childish Gambino was saving himself for something the world desperately needed.
Chaos, confusion, and anger.
America has a new president.
Outrage over President Donald Trump's immigration ban.
Protest against the killing of African Americans by police officers.
No justice!
No peace!
Has now turned into a political row.
A gunman had opened fire on 22,000 concert goers.
Police shot and killed Jacquees Clemens.
17-year-old Quanis Hayes was shot and killed by police. Officer Lippert opened fire, shooting Clemens in the back.
When Childish Gambino dropped This Is America, it landed in a country brimming with hate and division. The video's references, some more obvious than others, left millions of Americans acknowledging their country's recent horrors.
Everybody is talking about this video.
Childish Gambino is a distraction to what's really going on in the world right now.
If you're not paying attention, you're not seeing what's happening.
And isn't that what we do, unfortunately, many times as Americans? You know, we sort of have the attention span of a gnat.
Filled with symbolism, This Is America sparked conversation in every corner of the internet, with analyses, breakdowns, and discussion threads meticulously studying the video frame by frame. Glover hadn't just touched a nerve here, he'd whipped away the flesh and exposed America's bloody interior. But still, the people demanded artist clarification.
Can you explain what's happening at the end of that video?
And Gambino gave his answer.
No. People want the truth.
I think the best things just can't be explained. Like, after you're done with them, then they can be. Right now, we live in a time where things are very divisive. We all have a lot of responsibility.
I feel like that's the through line in everything I do. Like, if you give them the truth, people get excited because they feel like they're reading your diary.
It's our responsibility to make magic again, because I think a lot of the shit that's happening now is bullshit.
This Is America debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 100, received widespread critical acclaim, and won 4 Grammys. Donald Glover had taken things into his own hands, making not only a deeply personal project, but have it become ultra successful.
No matter where you're born or what country you're from, you connect with This Is America.
Most dream of maybe doing that once in their career, but for Donald Glover, it was becoming a habit.
A lot of community fans here. All right. And you want to talk about why you left and why you're not there?
No, I just wanted to do something else. That was it.
Community is, like, I think, one of the best shows on television, but it's not mine.
When Donald Glover left Community in 2013, he almost immediately began negotiating his next step, Atlanta.
Got him. How you look when you high at work.
With Glover creating, writing, starring, and occasionally directing, Atlanta was his from the top down. The first season dropped in September 2016 on FX after 3 years in development.
The guy and his cousin are trying to, like, make it in the music business.
Ain't you homeless? Not real homeless. I'm not using a rat as a phone or something.
Don't be racist, man.
It's funny, it's dark, it's bizarre. Very bizarre.
This is my favorite part of the museum.
What the hell is this?
This is my father.
The show sometimes feels like a fever dream.
We're cursed too.
With a lack of emphasis on multi-episodic story arcs, instead letting each episode breathe in its own right as individual stories. Heavily influenced by Glover's rise as a rapper in his hometown, the show examines topics such as race, culture, and the American dream. With all that in mind, getting the show greenlit was a feat in itself, but...
I just kind of Trojan horsed it. I told FX it was something it wasn't.
And this isn't unusual.
If you go to a network and say, I want to do prison stories about black women and Latino women and old women, it's like, you're not going to make a sale. But if you've got this blonde girl going to prison, you can kind of get in there and then you can tell all the stories.
Blending writing, performance, and music, you could argue Atlanta is the culmination of everything Donald Glover has learned so far. He believed in himself from the very beginning, and soon enough, so did the world.
Donald Glover, Atlanta. Donald Glover, Atlanta.
Thank you so much. The first season alone won 14 awards, including a Television Critics Award, an Emmy, and a Golden Globe. It then went on to win 3 more Emmys, with critics quickly naming it as one of the best television shows of the century.
So a Southern boy holding the Golden Globe, what does this moment mean to you? Summarize it.
I'm trying to make the best product. It's really like an honor to be recognized. I believe the people deserve quality, so I would just want to make a really good show.
These are the many faces of Donald Glover.
My dad used to tell me every day, like, you can do anything you want. And I remember thinking, like, you're lying to me.
Gambino is like the quintessential artist.
I've never seen anybody do as much stuff as he does.
And the only word I can use to describe him as a genius.
But now I do stuff, and he's like, I didn't think that was possible.
That guy doesn't know yet if there's something he can't do.
I want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. What's the reason I can't do what you do? And the reason is you just don't want to do it.
Life is just like learning about how to let go. Because like you really can't enjoy things for what they are while you're in it. Nothing's permanent. Permanence is not the point. The point is to be here and to be responsible for each other. It took me a long time to figure out who I was and like who I was. And then once I figured that out, you just have to be that to the millionth degree. Because no one's gonna outdo you at being you.